Hey, well, happy Tuesday to you. This is your boy CT3, and we have another episode of Moments of Clarity. We continue our creative arts, our creative series, hashtag artists at heart. And I have my boy Tim in the building. We're gonna have a lot of great conversations today. Tim, what's up? Holla at the people.
What's going on? Happy to be with you, brother. How you been?
Man, I've been great, man. I'm so glad to have you with me today. It's a great time for us to catch up. It's a beautiful Tuesday. A lot of great things happening in the world. But Tim has new music out, and we're going to come back and talk about some of that music on today's Moments of Clarity. Let's go. Tim, man, I am so happy that you were available today to come and be a part of Moments of Clarity, man. It's always a great time, man. It's been a minute since we had a chance to chop up, man. So
Yeah,
let's catch
years.
up for a few minutes before we dive into some of this music, man. How have you been, bro?
Man, I've been doing very well, man. Just working on my 9 to 5 in the ministry, finding time to write this music, and just really appreciating life, brother.
That is dope, man. So where are you in the country?
Living in Delaware.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so how has Delaware been treating you? So you've been in Delaware the whole time. I'm the one that's been bouncing around, right?
Yes, I've been in Delaware since '08. So born and raised in
Gotcha.
Philadelphia, moved to Delaware in 2008. And so
Okay.
far, so good, man. I mean, I haven't looked back. I'm still close enough to Philly to get there very quickly when I need
Yes,
to. So,
sir.
so it's all good.
Yeah, Philly is a cool spot, man. They have an amazing music scene in Philly, man. So every time I go to Philly, I always have a great time, man. So, so what are you doing now professionally? I know you're an artist and you're an artist at heart. So what are you doing right now professionally?
So I'm the senior director of alumni and family philanthropic engagement. Shoot, it's a very long, complicated title. I run alumni affairs for Eastern University, which is my undergraduate alma mater. So I'm having a good time. I just started there in January after spending 20 years doing similar work at the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay. Okay, so dope. So you have family, that's there with you as well, right?
Yeah, man. Wife, kids, uh, the whole nine. Just
The
got a
whole
dog back in
nine.
June. Got a 8-month-old Rottweiler puppy downstairs
Oh,
driving me
that's what's
crazy.
listen, sometimes those puppies can give you more trouble than the kids, actually.
My
I'm sorry, something technically happened there, but yeah, man, I'm so happy, man, that we get a chance to talk about a lot of cool things you have going on. So you're working at the university, and so how do you find time, man, with all the stuff that's going on at the university? How do you find time to work on your creative? Because you're an artist, so how do you find time
Absolutely.
to balance all of that and work on your creative stuff?
It's very intentionally. As a fellow creative, you understand, man, that if you don't make that time, you start to unravel a bit.
Yeah.
You start to get anxious. You start to get a little short tempered. Like you have to take that time. So for me, it usually ends up happening later in the evening after everybody else is going to bed. When I find that quiet time where I can kind of steal away and sneak away and just either crank up the keyboard or put pen to paper or whatever the case may be, just to do something to just get those juices flowing and to get these ideas out. Because man, they just float around in your head, and if they stay in there, you'll go crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. You definitely have to be intentional. You definitely have to be intentional about spending time in your creative space. I mean, yeah, you definitely will go crazy in a lot of ways. And there actually the tagline for my production company is intentionality determines every outcome. And so
Yes,
you
sir.
do have to put levels of intentionality into your craft. And so I'm going to say that to all the creators that may be watching, you do have to be intentional about spending time with you creating. And I so let me ask you, what type of creative are you? So do like when you write, do you actually like take a day? I'm gonna write today. I'm gonna write and I'm gonna write a song today, or does it come to you sometimes like on a whim? You're like, oh man, I didn't even know. I got a song. So let me try to work on it on tomorrow. So how does inspiration and how does creativity come to you?
So I so rarely have a day that I can say I'm just going to commit to this one thing with everything else that I have going on.
Yeah, I get that.
I have to catch it as it comes. Like literally, I could be driving and I'll hear something and I'll just do a voice note in my phone and know I'm going to come
See?
back to this later. I could be walking down the street and do the same thing. I could be at the grocery store, at the laundromat. So I really have to, again, back to that word intentional. When those moments happen, even if I'm like drifting off to sleep and something like a phrase or something, I'll send myself an email. I'll roll over and grab the phone and send myself an email with a couple of lines in it and just come back to it as soon as I can and build on it. So a lot of times the songs I write come to me in pieces. It's been rare that I've been able to just kind of sit down and just finish a song like start to finish. It's usually I sit down with a concept and I just kind of build on it.
Right. And so then what type of so what inspires you? And so I know obviously, with you working in a profession that you're in, I know a lot of your work obviously inspires you because you work in ministry. So there's the godly inspiration. But are you
Yes.
inspired in other areas? So so like do you look at the world and look at humanity and be like, man, does your heart bleed enough that you're like, I need to write something because like socially we need to heal. So I'm just trying to figure out as a creative, what inspires you? What inspires you to write? What inspires you to do what you do?
Man, so I think you can relate to this answer, and I can literally find inspiration anywhere.
That's
I
right.
mean, from a commercial on television
Yep.
to a tagline to somebody's business,
Yep.
to watching the news. Obviously, I mean, this year, I wish I could say unlike any other, but like too many others, this
Yeah.
year has been one where we have been inspired by just tragedy.
Yeah.
And you said, does your heart bleed? Absolutely. I mean, I have moments where if I wanted to sit down and write about something else, I couldn't because
Yeah.
it weighs so heavy on you that if you don't express that first, you almost can't get past it to express anything else.
Yeah.
So I'm open. I think that's the key to it is that I'm open to all inspiration, right? So that means that nothing is off limits.
Listen, so Wanda Wilson, that's your wife, right?
That's my wife.
she
She
says,
she knows.
she says, "Oh yes, he will. Oh yes, he will." In the middle of the night, get up and
I'll
be
get that phone. She'll see that phone light illuminating the bedroom, and I'm over there click clack and typing up a message real quick.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. She understands and she knows the type of creator that you are, man. So yeah, dude, I get that. I get that. So I get that. And I'm the same way. There are times that yeah, you really can get inspiration from anywhere. And I am a natural creative and I'm an artist at heart for real, but then I'm a natural empath. And so I feel everything. And so I have to be really I have to really protect my energy. I really do because I feel everything. And so, watching the news, I have to, when I watch it, I have to. And a lot of times when I'm watching the news, like every night, that's my soap opera for the night. I promise you. From watching the news, you're going to get all the tears from me because there's so much crazy stuff that's going on in the world today. And it's hard to believe
Yes.
that our world is this crazy,
Yeah.
obviously. But I think it's a perfect time for artists like us to come up with bodies of work that we can begin the healing process that's so needed in our world and in our social climate that we live in. So I normally start off my podcast by asking this question, but I just wanted to catch up with you because we haven't talked in so long.
Yeah.
With the social climate that's going on in this country, how are you doing, man? How are you doing as from one black man to another black man? How are you doing?
Um. Yeah. I guess the only way I can answer that is how am I doing today,
That's
right?
good.
Because
That's
because
good.
it changes so frequently. I mean, this year has been more than challenging me as a black man. It's challenged me as a black father because I've had to have conversations with my children that have just really saddened me to number one have to have those conversations at their ages, and to number two to have to realize how aware they are at those ages. I mean, my youngest is 10, and I remember. I'm sorry, she's 11 now. She would kill me if she heard me say she was 10. I remember being 11, I didn't have this kind of weight on me. I was able to be a kid. I was able to just go out and play. I was able to maintain my innocence and just my sense of fun. but they have so many things to consider because they have such access. Like the news that I could avoid watching as a kid, they have it popping up on their phones and on their computers, and they're hearing about it at school and whatnot. And so it's been very challenging. It's been very heavy. And that's another reason why I have to be so creative. I mean, so intentional about tapping into that creative space, because that's my therapy. You know what I mean? That's the space that allows me to process those things that I can't even really adequately articulate with my words. I can just kind of get them out in those creative ways, and it keeps me sane. Like it keeps me, it allows me to be who they need me to be, and not just walk around angry all the time and frustrated and even depressed. So thank God for creativity, brother.
Man, listen, I do that every day. I always thank God for that level of inspiration and creativity. I always thank God for music, because music always puts me in a place, or brings me back to a center. Music can always do it, especially the right type of music can always bring me back to a center. And so, I always tell people that if your gift don't work for you, it don't work for anybody.
Mm.
And so, as a creative, I know there are songs that I've written that haven't even been released yet. That in times when I'm frustrated, I can sing those songs and they begin a restoration process in me.
Yeah.
Times when I'm extremely depressed, I can start singing a song that I've written and I can watch it bring me all the way back to one. So I do understand that is very, 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 very important. Are you the same way?
Oh my God. There's almost nothing better than, when you can be encouraged by something that you have actually created yourself. It is extremely humbling. Like I'm sure we are the same in the sense that I have like volumes of work that will probably never be released, because they weren't necessarily written for the masses. These were things that were really written for me. You know what I mean? They were so personal and so just such intimate moments that they were really just between me and God. And that's fine with me. Like I don't need them to go any further than that. But I know that when I need them in those moments, I can reach back, I can listen to them, I can sing them again, I can revisit them, I can even update them, whatever the case may be. Just having them there is such a sense of comfort, and it gives me such peace, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Man, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I remember a friend of mine, Delwyn Island. I had him on the show last Thursday. He and I wrote a song, and just at the spur of the moment, I had inspirations to write this song, and he's my go-to buddy. And I'll never forget this one time. We wrote it, and I recorded. He had this small little makeshift studio in his apartment in Chicago,
Mm.
and I recorded it, and I recorded it what we had wrote that night, and that song has been so much therapy for me. The song is called 23, and I've actually gotten to a place that I'm going to record it and release it top of the year.
Nice, nice.
Just because that I didn't realize how powerful the song was. I know it always brought me back to center, but one of my good friends, actually several of my friends, was like, "Hey man, have you recorded something?" Like, yeah, I recorded stuff, and I sent them that song. And I think this is so interesting, Tim. There was even one time that I was applying for a worship pastor's position,
Mhm.
and it was I sent them. They said, "Have you have any music? Have you recorded yourself?" And I was like, "No, no, no." But I have recorded music. So I sent them this song 23, and I was not expecting to hear back from the pastor of the church because I was talking directly to the admin. And the pastor replied back to me and said, "Hey man, listen, this song, where can I get it?" And I was like,
Wow.
it's not out. It's just sort of kind of a snippet of me singing this song that my friend and I wrote." And it was like, man, this song, I have it on repeat. And it was like a 23, 30 second like snippet of the song. And this guy said, I just have it on repeat, man. This song just, it really spoke to me. And I was like, oh,
Nice.
wow, okay, that's crazy. And I think ultimately, as I'm coaching creatives like in this space, I'm coaching so many creatives now. What I've learned, Tim, and you probably can attest to this, is that as a creative, you can't create you can't create anything that's wrong, nor can you create anything that's bad. as a creative, especially
Hmm.
as it relates to like music or things that we create or ideas. That we can't create anything that's wrong or anything that's bad. To say that we created something that's wrong or that's bad will be an indictment against the ultimate creator, because he doesn't create anything that's wrong or that's bad. I think what I've learned to do as a creative is to understand that, okay, maybe this is a song that's not for me. Maybe somebody else should record it. And so I've been learning to get out of my own head and get out of my own space. And the songs that I know that's not necessarily for me to record and put out, I've learned just to shop them. Okay, cool. Well, now I'm having artists record my music now, because
Wow.
I've gotten over myself to think, oh, that song, man, was just. And I'm serious. I was kicking my own self in the pants, like, oh, that song was just all right. When somebody else heard it, it spoke to them in a whole nother other way.
Yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
way creativity works. I'm inspired. It's like I'm inspired. It goes back to the statement that Rome wasn't built in a day. So
Yes.
I'm inspired maybe to write the beginning on a hook. Okay, somebody else may have inspirations for the second verse and a vamp that can make it to take it to the next level. And so I've just learned how to relax and release it though. So
Hmm.
release it to other people to add their creative element to it, because we're all trying to paint a beautiful picture, right? So that the world can heal. And so that's the space that I've been in for the last few years, is learning to relax and release it. It may not be something I'll ever record, but
Yeah.
somebody else would get some amazing inspiration from that. So let's talk about that before we start diving into those songs. How are you in that space right now?
It's funny. You just triggered a couple different thoughts for me. Number one was I was really at the place where I was no longer interested in being an artist. I wanted to just be a writer,
Oh,
but I
wow.
could never find anybody to record the stuff. And so if I wanted to get it out, I had to record it. So
Mm.
that's kind of what forced me to release these two singles and to work on this EP that I'm working on now. But I love collaboration. Like I absolutely love it. I mean, I have guys now that I get to work with. Jay Morris, who's an amazing musician and artist. My bass player is Mark Ings. My drummer has been Jonathan Franklin. And if I have a concept and I sit down with those guys, I know that we're so in sync, you know what I mean, that I'll start something out and they will add their flavor to it and really
Yep.
bring it to life. And
Yep.
I am so fine with that. Like when we have a session, I don't go in and say, all right, Mark, I need you to do this on the bass for me. John, give me this kind of beat. I just start playing my part and they just kind of jump in and it just becomes, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? It
man.
becomes what it becomes. And even with the latest single with By Felicia, if you were to have heard me perform it live, I wrote it like early 2018. And so
Okay.
I've been performing it live for the better part of 2 years. But when it came time to record it, I linked with Hamilton Harden, who produced it for me. And so I mean, totally flipped it. I think the way that I described it was I gave him a concept and he made it a song, right? So I gave him like this little infant concept and he made it a full grown song. And so what it ended up being in this recorded version that I released recently is like light years. And believe me, I enjoyed the live version. It was well received. It was fun. But being able to connect with someone else who really, and even that recording process was different for me, had like the input that he had, the hands-on type of production that he offers. I loved it and I appreciated it because in the end, I want the best version. You know what I mean? I want the best possible version of the song. And that doesn't mean that it has to be, every part of it has to be dictated by me. Sometimes the best part, it means that I need some spices and some ingredients from somebody else. And
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely open to that. Absolutely open to that.
And I think that makes you brilliant, man. I think one, we are more like, or we're closest to God. One, we're open minded. Because only open-minded people are going to move the world forward. That's it. When people are closed-minded, I talk about this a lot because it's something that's plagued our society in a lot of ways. None of us were ever designed to stay the same. Your body, everything about who you are, your essence, everything about you was designed for change. It really
Yeah.
was. One clear indicator that we know that our entire body was designed for change, because your body changes without your permission. It just freaking changes. And so it just does. Man, listen, if you over 35, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, your
Indeed.
body changes without your permission. You could be feeding it all the right stuff. It will change without your permission. So what that says to me, obviously, if I understand this natural thing, then that also should be a spiritual thing for me as well. That I
Right.
should always be evolving. I should always be shifting. I should always be changing. Um, that's just real rap, man. Your body changed
Yeah.
by permission, so I should always be evolving. I'm always trying to challenge people. If you're the same person you was yesterday, that's a whole problem. That means that
Absolutely.
you haven't spent time enough with yourself to know that you still got room for growth and you still got room for evolution. And I think that is a big problem in our social climate, in our political systems, everything is because people don't see the value in evolving from what they used to be.
Right.
And what they used to know. I had a good friend of mine, Stephen Thurston, was on this particular platform. We talked about something. He said something that messed me up. He said that we live in an illiterate society, and I was like, wait a
Mm.
minute, hold on, stop. He said no. He said I want you to rethink the way we say the word illiteracy, and I'm like, okay, okay. Here, so let's go. He said the most illiterate people are amongst us are the people who cannot unlearn and relearn.
Hmm.
That freaking it was everything for me. I was like, bro, yeah. And because it talked about the importance of us evolving and the importance of us becoming the best version of us that's possible. But if we don't take time to unlearn old habits, old practices, old ideals, Bible calls them strongholds, and we don't
Hmm.
take time to get rid of that old stuff and relearn another way, then we are becoming, without us even knowing it, we're becoming irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, so it's important that when the Bible talks about us changing our minds or renewing our minds, that is a continuum. It is not something that stops one time. We stay in this place, or we should stay in this place of renewal, and fresh thinking. That should be our norm. It should be our norm. So again, this is great conversations, Tim. So thank you for helping us get through this conversation. I want to go back to your music, man, because you have this song out. Your current single is by Felicia. So
Yes.
we all know where the term. I don't. Well, some people may not know where the term by Felicia comes from, but maybe you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, we were really introduced to that term in the movie Friday by Ice Cube. But for the in the context of the song, at least, Felicia doesn't represent a person. Felicia can represent a person, but it's not limited to people. And you talked about scriptural references, and we often say we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We often say the weapons of our warfare are not carnal and things like that. But we're still human, right? And so oftentimes we find ourselves needing to make people and the our enemy or the object of
Absolutely,
our
yeah, yeah, yeah.
anger or whatever the case may be. So Felicia can represent people in that sense, as in we don't want to. People are not our issue. Felicia is this negative energy. It is these assigned forces that come to hinder us, to prevent us from becoming, to stagnate us, to petrify us, and keep us kind of as we are. It's not necessary for us to regress as long as we don't progress, right? If the forces that work against us can just get us to be still, it doesn't matter that we're not going backwards. The whole goal is that we don't go forward, right? And so this song is about saying goodbye to all those distractions, getting rid of all those hindrances, overcoming them even. And so that's really, really what the inspiration was behind this song is me realizing, you know what, I got too much to do. I've got too much gifting inside of me. I have too much purpose inside of me to allow anything or anyone to stop me from fully actualizing my purpose on this earth. My time is limited, right? So I can't waste it paying attention to stuff that's not contributing to who and what I'm supposed to be.
That's real rap, bro. I tell people all the time, man, if people aren't increasing you, then they are decreasing you.
Absolutely.
And so it is important that we be the CEOs of our life and choose our executive team wisely.
Yeah, like that. I like that.
And choose the people that are around us, because these people do influence our decisions, whether we like to admit it or not. Our friends, we do care about what they think, and
Of
how
course.
they will feel about anything that we do. So yeah, that executive team, that cabinet, as it were, those people are vital to your well-being, but also to your success as well.
Absolutely.
I can tell where you're gonna be in 5 years based on who you got around you today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the truth, man. So I want to dive into a little bit of this song by Felicia. I want to listen to it, and let's vibe to it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey.
There go Felicia. Hope she don't see it. Just like the devil, she's always seeking. Oh, she may devour and sink her teeth in. She's out to snatch her focus and she is a liar
Yes.
and a deceiver. She'll have you thinking her grass is greener. And if you let her, she'll blur your vision. So before she get a chance with my Felicia, she got to get moving on. She can't distract me no more. Felicia. No matter his no your soul, she will if she take control.
Oh, come through, sir. Dog, hey, dog, that's a vibe, man. That is a
Yes,
vibe,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
That is great. So tell me about the idea. I got what you just said about what it means, what it stands for. What was your inspiration? I know the world is crazy. You said you wrote this a couple years ago, actually, and
Yes.
so what it says is a couple of things that a lot of things hadn't changed because yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna let you talk. I can come back to that real quick, but yeah, I'm gonna let you talk about your inspiration behind this song.
So I think it's just one of those. There are some things I think in life that are evergreen, like things that are just always going to be relevant. And I feel like, if you're a person who has purpose, like you understand that you're not just here by coincidence, you're not just here by happenstance, but you were created to do something. And I don't really care what it is. Like this is not just for folks who their purpose is tied into what we would consider to be kingdom work and all that good stuff. But if you feel like you were created to be the CEO, if you were created to be a lawyer, if you were created whatever your path is, I wanted to create something that was just universal.
Right.
Something that anybody could listen to and receive something for themselves, and take this message and say, you know what? Yeah, I mean, I got something, because you were talking earlier about us evolving, and the problem is, there are some people who don't see a need to be better, but then there are others who don't believe that better is possible,
Right.
right? And so part of my continual and consistent inspiration is to spread this message to folks that says, you know what? Even if you're already great, you can still be better. Like there's still more. Like this idea of, and when you talked about renewing, like if we think about anything in life that we renew, we never renew anything one time. Whether it's your driver's license or a library book, if you want to keep it, you got the process of renewal happens continually. Like you get to the point where having it expires, right? And possession beyond that of that old thing becomes illegal. So I want to maintain this legal possession of my purpose, which means I have to be renewed. Like it has to happen, or else, I can't. I just can't. I can't deal with, like, I don't even want to be me from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't want to be that guy. And he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't what I need to be today.
Right, exactly. And I think as we can talk about how we get new days and new mercies, those new days, those new mercies are designed strategically to help us get to a new as well, a
Yes.
new version of us. And so I try to encourage people not to waste their newness, or not to waste these new days, these new graces, these new opportunities that we get to get it right.
Yes.
Because it's
Yeah.
possible for all of us. We could have jacked up yesterday in a crazy way. But the fact that we get a new day and a new mercy says we have a new opportunity as well to get
Absolutely.
right today what we may have jacked up yesterday. So I want to encourage people that are watching. Do not ignore your newness that you're given every day. You're given new days, new graces, new mercies. Take advantage of that and embrace the newness. Embrace the idea of the upgrade. We upgrade everything around us. The new iPhone just came out, and people buying that. The new PS5 is coming out, and people in line to get that joint right now. For the holidays, everything we upgrade everything around us. If our car gets too old, or we have an oil leak, I'm getting something else. We have no listen. When it concerns upgrading things around us, we will upgrade it in 2 seconds.
What about
Uh,
us?
but we don't think that we ourselves are due an upgrade. And so, Tim and I just want to encourage you to know, yes, you too are due and a good upgrade. And it's okay to upgrade. The world actually is waiting on you to upgrade, because the world don't change without you. It just doesn't.
Absolutely not.
It does not change without you. Tim, man, that song, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I wish it was longer. I wish it was longer, because I'm like this. I could do this all day. This is a good one right here.
Yeah, that's about 3 minutes is all you get on that one.
But listen, I want you to definitely go. Everybody that's watching, Tim is here with us today. We're talking about his music. The song we just listened to was by Felicia. It's a new single he just released. It is available on all digital download outlets. So definitely go and download the tune by Felicia. I promise you, if you need some exercise music, it'll make you move. But then also, I don't want you to get so caught up in the beat and the groove of it. There's definitely some things that can make you think in this track as well. So sit with these lyrics, sit with this music, and be inspired. Tim,
Yes, sir. Yes,
man,
sir. That's what it's about. That's what it's
bro,
about.
I'm so glad we got a chance to catch up, man. It's been so long, man. We connected when I was at Salem, right, in Chicago, right?
Yes. Yep.
Bro, that's been such a long time. I've been in Salem since 12, so since 2012. So that's been a whole 8 years, and I think we connected probably around 9 or 10.
Somewhere
So
around
yeah,
there.
somewhere around there. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm so glad we get a chance to connect like this. And dude, I'm ready. I'm open, so we can collaborate. Is whenever you get that time or you feel inspired, let's go, man. Let's get in there and make
Yes,
some music
sir.
happen. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So you got your music going, you're working at the college. So what else are you doing in life? Talk to me.
So outside of that, I mean, I'm really helping out at the church that I'm serving, um, especially this year, obviously with the pandemic, and we have an older congregation. So I've been really active in allowing us to kind of transfer to virtual services and things of that nature. So fortunately, in my line of work, having knowledge of those platforms and things lend itself to the ministry. So that's been a great thing. Um, and really, man, that's really it, man. I'm just really trying my best to, as we just talked about, continuing to evolve,
Yeah.
and overcoming these ideas of, yeah, I remember this saying, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And, just kind of being frozen because I know that I'll never be perfect. Right. So why even bother trying, like overcoming all those kinds of imposter syndrome and things like that.
Right.
I was just, it's funny, man, because I was just talking to my family on Sunday and mentioned Lexus has this logo, right, or tagline, the endless pursuit of perfection, right? That's what they say.
Okay.
And so their concept is that every year Lexus puts out a new version of the same model, but the new version has a little something that last year's model didn't. But they know that they will never create the perfect car. but it doesn't stop them from trying. Every single year, they try to improve the technology. Every year, they may change the sound system. Every year, maybe the screen is different, or now they got the backup camera, or now they got these kinds of brakes, or they got lane assist and all that. So the same thing we were just talking about, how we improve ourselves. Like, I might never be like this perfect person, but I can certainly have something this year that I didn't have last year. I can certainly sharpen this area of my life. I can certainly practice this. I can certainly read this book, this text. You know what I mean? So when you ask what I'm doing, I'm trying to grow. That's really what I'm doing. And that's for work. That's for home. That's for ministry. That's for my artistry. I'm just trying to grow as an individual. And as I do that, I'm trying to spread it, because I don't believe that I receive anything that I'm just supposed to house. Like, I'm not a container, I'm a conduit. So things don't come to me just to rest. They come to me so that I can then share it with everybody else that I come in contact with. So if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I think that my page attests to that mentality. You know, when I get on, I'm not getting on to share any gossip. I'm not getting on to spread any ratchet stuff. I'm really on here just to share things that are encouraging, things that are inspiring, and things that provoke growth, because that is my purpose. That's my purpose. And it just manifests in many different ways.
Man, I think you're in the perfect space, man. I think we can never talk enough about the importance of personal development, and personal growth. One of the T-shirts, and it just says what I said before, that the world does not change without you. Each one of us has a responsibility, man, of shifting ourselves consciously to a place that we can make a mark on this space, on the earth, that nobody else can erase. I mean, the world should know that we're here, and so the way we get there, obviously, is by doing exactly what you just talked about, being at that place where, hey, I'm going to make a very intentional habit of growing at least some inches every day.
Yeah.
And whether that be in a book, or rethinking some old processes to help me see the world in a better place, because obviously we can't heal the world if we can't see the world. If we can't see it for what it really is, there's no room for us to even heal it. We're going to consciously see what's bad, what's wrong, when in actuality, every problem that exists in the world is designed for us to heal and or to fix. So there is no problems. There is no problem. It's just a lack of creativity, and you know what I'm saying, and intentionality, and camaraderie, and building this whole idea of team and teamwork. Because when we work together, the whole world evolves, and we all shift together. So there is no problem, one, that God and or us together in partner with Him can't solve. So we don't have problems. We just have a lack of collaboration, a lack of willingness to collaborate with other people to make the world better. One, for us, but even so for the next generation, man. I'm saying this all the time because I always want to speak to the generation. The generation are the people that's alive today. Each one of us has a responsibility to evolve to a place where we are making the world better for the next generation. Tim, I know you in the field that you're in. I know you work with a lot of young people as well as the seniors, and I know you can see probably the extremes in behavior.
Yes.
And you can also see that the younger people have these extreme anxiety challenges. And I notice it, and watch this. I'm so close to it. I notice it enough to have some of the same anxieties. So I know it. I can feel it. And watch this. I sort of kind of have a clear understanding of why the anxiety is there, because I feel like the anxiety is there because these young people, when they came to the world, I feel like they know that the world should be further than what it is. Like they know that in 2020, us still talking about racial stuff, it shouldn't even be named amongst us. That we still having racial issues in 2020, that in 2020, over 200 years of this country's inception, and we still are dealing with issues from day one. Yeah, that's where a lot of this anxiety and pressure comes from, because the world should be further than where we are. Everything around us has evolved except for the humans. The technology has evolved. Think about it. Technology has evolved even beyond us. We can get
Yeah.
some of these phones and be like, now what? Now what you do with this now? Wait, hold on. What? What? Everything has evolved except for us. And so I think our anxiety, especially we get it from younger people and young adults and millennials, is because they know, hey guys, we should be further than where we are right now, which is where you get a lot of their frustrations and their that's where it comes from, bro. The world should be a lot further than where it is right now. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about that?
Man, I agree. It's funny that you mentioned the young and the old because they are like the two audiences that I feel most drawn to.
Yeah,
Because number one, I feel like they are the two audiences that are most forgotten and overlooked.
so true.
And secondly, they are the two most honest audiences. So your young people don't know yet that they should have a mask or that people wear masks. And the old have lived long enough to say, you know what, I'm not doing this mask stuff no more. Either you accept me for who I am or you don't. It's us in the middle that's trying to navigate all these systems and trying to become who we think people
Right,
expect us to be and
right.
putting on these facades and becoming these characters who aren't real. I love to sit down and just listen to the young people, to the older people, and I feel like that's where the majority of my knowledge comes from. They both have differing perspectives, but usually similar objectives.
Yeah,
And so it's an awesome thing, man. And I think that if we could all, and not just this is not just unique to these two audiences, but if we could all learn to listen, man, if we could all just really learn to listen, like not sit there and hear so that you can formulate your response, but listen the way that Stephen Covey says in his book, where we seek first to understand and then to be understood, right? So we have so much work to do, bro. Like we have so much work to do.
yeah, it's so true, man. I even say this. I've said this to people that I've coached. I tell them to seek to understand, even on top of what Stephen said in his book, to seek to understand, even if you're misunderstood.
Ah,
So that makes you think through it. Like, okay, I could be getting beat up right now, but I still have to listen behind this person that I'm talking to. I have to listen behind their anger. I have to
yeah,
listen behind their hurt. I have to listen behind their pain, because their feels are valid too. However they feel, it is valid. I can't discredit it. And so I have to, if I'm going to be a healer, which is what God has called us to be. If I'm going to heal the world, heal my little small part of the world, then I have to be just what you just said, man. Someone that listens intently, and that listens and seeks to understand the other person, even if that means that in that moment I'm totally missed, I'm
right.
totally misunderstood. To be okay with that, because ultimately at the end of the day, you can definitely defend your point another day. I think we got to
Mhm.
be sensitive in those moments to know what that person needs in that moment. As I'm counseling and coaching people through their relationships, I hear people so much want to be right, and I always say, hey, being right is overrated. But trust me, being right is overrated. In
Yeah.
the moment, it is so important to find out what the other person needs in that moment. If they need you to say, I'm sorry, hear that. Hear what they're saying and just say it. I'm sorry, man. And not just say it, but mean it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how we start, one, healing ourselves and then healing the world around us, because it's back to the point you just said, Tim. It is important that we listen intently. And again, it goes back to what you've been saying. You've been preaching all day. You need an offering, Doc. Uh, Cash App, Tim Worth. Listen,
Man,
Tim, you've been preaching the whole time, Doc. You need an offering.
but listen, but you know what I learned, Tubbs? People are not just whats, they are also whys, right? So we look and we see a what quickly, but if we sit and listen, then we can finally find out why. Why are they so angry? Why are they so frustrated? Why are they this? Why are they that? We quick to use our eyes, man, but that's discernment is not a function of the eyes.
And I'm telling you, that why is everything. It really is everything. The what is whatever. That why is everything. When you get to the root of why a person's angry, when you get to the root of why a person's upset, when you get to when you get to the root of why a person is crying, then you understand what it takes for them to be healed as well.
Yes,
And
exactly.
oftentimes, I'm telling you, oftentimes it's just they want to be heard. I'm telling you, MLK said it the best that the riots that we see in the world today are just the cries and the voices of people that this
Yes,
government has not listened to. So if they turn down stuff, it's just because the government is not listening. So we can talk about, well, you turned. I get it. Yeah, we can talk about that. That's the what. We haven't addressed the why yet. And so
at
when I
all.
think when this country learns to address the why, and our social systems will be a lot better, the way we communicate with each other, the way we work with government, everything will change when we learn to investigate the why, because the why is everything.
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely,
everything, bro. So you have
absolutely.
another song that you have out that people can purchase. It's called "Cover Me." So tell me
Yes.
about your inspirations behind this song, Tim.
So that song was written. It was another one that was written long before it was actually recorded, and that was one of the rare occasions where I kind of sat down and just wrote a song start to finish. Like I just started playing this progression, and it just started. It just kind of poured out of me. And the sentiment behind the song is basically what the hook says: Lord, I'm ready to be what you created me to be, the picture that you had in your mind when you died for me. So while you're changing me and while you're making me, Lord, I'm asking that your grace and mercy cover me. So it's basically just about me finally submitting myself, surrendering to the will of God for my life, and saying, giving God a yes, and saying, listen, I know that I just gave you a yes, but I know that that doesn't mean that I'm ready. It doesn't mean that I'm already, everything I need to be. So while I'm going through this process of actually becoming, just cover me, because I know I'm still not going to get it right all the time. I know I'm still going to make my mistakes and all that good stuff. So that's really the motivation and the sentiment behind that one.
Let's listen to a little bit of it, man. That's
Yes,
dope.
sir.
Spent so much time running from your call. Gave me so many chances, seemed I had failed them all. But Lord, you never let me go. That's why today I vow that I will give to you my heart, my mind, and soul. And Lord, I am ready to be what you created me to be. Picture that you had in your mind when you died for me. So while you're changing me and while you're making me, Lord, I'm asking that your grace and mercy cover me. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Those are great words, man. The lyrics are spot on, man. Because we all need that. That's a great prayer, man. That's a great prayer to start the day. That's actually a great place to start a great conversation. Also, it's a great place to meditate on this idea of not just asking God to cover me, but then also understanding and knowing that once I ask, He hears and He gives me that covering that I need so that I can be everything He wants me to be, bruh. So,
Yes,
hey,
sir.
thank you for that offering, man. And thank you so much, man, for being in a place where you're staying open to receive inspiration. from God, man. And I just appreciate you being a creative that stays open, because that's the only way we're gonna heal, bro. That's the only way.
Absolutely.
And we actually have been carved out strategically as creators to heal the world through song. So, songwriters, I want to encourage you and motivate you to don't stop writing and keep doing what you do creatively. Whatever you put, whatever comes out of your soul in this space, we need to hear it. I don't care if it's. I even told a writer. I told a writer that I had on the podcast, Tim, a few weeks ago. I said, I don't care if it's an angry song. If you're
Hmm.
mad, I said we need to hear that because oftentimes as people we go through life and you're like, wait a minute, is this just me? Am I just feeling this way? And so when somebody can put that, and when they're creative enough to put some levels of frustration in a melody,
Yes.
yeah, that level of understanding can help somebody not commit suicide.
Right.
Statistics tells us that people oftentimes feel like people that commit suicide is because they feel like nobody's listening, nobody hears, or nobody understands. So I actually welcome and I always encourage people, like, it don't matter what style of song it is. If it's the mad song, put it out some kind of way that we can hear it, because you'll never know the life that you'll save behind your music. But that's
Absolutely.
ultimately our responsibility, bro. We're healers, right? And we heal through the creative arts. And so whether that be writing a song and or writing a script, I mean, I do all of that stuff. And so I realize that everything that we do creatively, everything that comes out of us is designed for one purpose. Is designed to show people a different way, show
Hmm.
people, actually even themselves, to see where there is room for upgrade, where there is room for change. And so creativity, man, I love being a creative coach and I love being a creative artist because I realize and I understand my role. I understand it. I get it. I understand that my responsibility. So Tim, your responsibility is to create, never stop creating. And whatever we create, we got to put it out there because we never know how it'll reach the masses. We never know. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, we just never know. So we have to relax, get over ourselves, and release it. I'm telling you, bro, I'm saying this to you because I believe you got music that people ain't heard because you ain't gotten over it yet. I'm serious. Because you hadn't got on the fact that, "Oh, I don't think it's a good song." I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's an amazing song. It may not, I'm telling you, it may not be amazing for you to sing it. I was talking to an artist yesterday, as a matter of fact, that's recording a song that I was like, it's just all right. It's sort of kind of simple. But he recorded it and he was letting me listen to it. I'm like, hey, man, I wrote that sounds like something that and we was talking about the vamp, and I was singing some melody ideas for him in the vamp. It was while he was in the studio, and listen. I dissed that song forever. I'm like, Brett, man, it ain't. It's all right. And
Yeah.
watch this. I dissed it so. Listen, I even recorded it. I recorded the song and threw it away. And
Wow.
I sent him the sample track, and he was like, "Dog, this song is great." And I'm like, "Okay, well, if you want to do something with it, go ahead, whatever." And so when he started recording it, and he called me back and said, "Listen to this, and tell me what you think I should do here." I'm sitting there like, "Oh man, that song sounds amazing with you singing it. It sounded like crap with me singing it." Um, but dog, and that's what I've learned to do, man. So I'm telling
Gotcha.
you, bro, you got music, bro. That you got music for days. And if that's your aspiration to be a songwriter, and that's something that you feel so strongly about, that's just something that you should be doing. And so you have to go back and like, okay, cool. So it's not that you want to be a songwriter. The reality is you are, and so you
Right.
got to believe. You got to believe it. This is who I am. I got proof. You know what I'm saying? All the music that you have written. I'm telling you, man, it's a time to release that. Even if you don't sing it, if you don't record, it's not for you anyway. Release it to other people, bro, and sit back. And the songwriters get paid the most money anyway. And so
FYI.
in case I was wondering. So I'm telling you, bro, do that, and put those strategies together. I'm telling you, bro, you got music that the world needs to hear. Based on these two songs alone, you got music that the world needs to hear, bro. So you got to, definitely put that strategy together. How you're going to release it and how you're going to communicate it, and even shop it to other
Yeah.
artists that can take it to the level that you didn't even see the potential. It's not designed for you to see the potential in it. It's for them to hear it and be inspired by it enough to be like, wait a minute, I can add something into something, bruh. I'm telling you, bruh. I'm telling you, Tim. I just want to encourage you in that regard. I'm telling you. And I sense this by God. I'm telling you, you got music, bro, out that you haven't put out or that you haven't released that you need to do it. That you need to shop. And if you don't want to sing all the songs, I'm telling you, bro, get it out there.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
tr- okay. Do you receive that?
Yep. I got you. I do receive that.
I,
Absolutely.
yeah, I want you to, man, because I'm telling you, um, I'm gonna say this not to be rude or anything, but you're only working for people because you have to. I mean, because you want to, not because you have to. I'm telling you, there's enough in you to sustain you and your family for generations to come, independently of working a 9 to 5. The 9 to 5 is amazing. And I always tell people the 9 to 5 actually is designed to help you to fund the thing that you're supposed to be doing anyway. That's all it's
Yeah.
really designed to do.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to encourage you in that, man. I think you're amazing at what you do. I think you're amazing what you do creatively. I think you're also amazing what you do professionally. But I'm telling you, you have enough in you to sustain you so that you're working for somebody else as a choice. Not that you have to do it. I'm telling you, you have enough in you. So, nevertheless, I just want to encourage you with that.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much, bro. I think when we first connected, bro, we just always had great energy towards each other. And
Yep.
I always tell people all the time that friendship is not something that you have to force to happen.
No.
It's organic. It's like water. It just flows. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you have to force. And where Tim and I don't talk every day, I can see him do something on Facebook or post something on IG and be like, yeah, that dude is killing the game. I appreciate him. I can celebrate him, and I know he'll have the same energy towards me. And so
Absolutely.
that's what I've always felt since I met you initially, man, over 10 years ago. And I just appreciate you for being that dude, bro. I just
Thank you.
appreciate you for being that dude. So I'm so proud of you, man. I'm happy that you are fulfilling the prayer of the song "Cover Me," where you are becoming and being everything that God has called you to be. God is definitely covering you and your family in this process, and so I just appreciate you one for being open because it does require a level of openness and yielding to write and come up with these lyrics that help people to think, help people to process, and help people through stuff that they're going through, bro. So thank you for being an artist at heart. Thank you for being open. Because that is how we move the world forward, bro. So thank you for being all those things.
Man, listen, I appreciate it. And you actually made me think of one more thing that I have not announced yet. So this is something that I'm announcing on your show.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
First time that I've made mention of this publicly outside of some of my friends and family who are aware, but I'm actually in the process of publishing a book. So this is a brand new venture for me. I've never written a book before in my life, but I was inspired to write this particular book. And this was another thing that kind of just poured out of me. It was rather therapeutic. It's called Daddy Issues. And it is really to highlight the fact that that term is usually used as it applies to girls and women. But this is to kind of really address the fact that us men have daddy issues as well. Like we suffer from daddy issues, and it kind of chronicles my life, like excerpts of my life and how my father's absence impacted me, impacted my development, impacted the way I saw myself, impacted the way I saw the world, impacted some of my behaviors, some of my decisions. And it is literally the most vulnerable work I have ever created, far more than any song that I have released, far more than any song that I have not released. And I have, even now, like I'm in the final stages of publishing, like I'm at cover art now, like that's the last thing that you do. And there are days where I still sit back and I'm like, am I really gonna release this? Like this, am I really brave enough to bear myself this way? But I have determined that if one boy, if one man, if one woman who loves a boy or a man who has these issues can read this and gain something from it, and get a better understanding of the things that we go through and the things that we war with in our minds, then it's worth it. If I help one person, man, with this project, then it's absolutely worth it. And so by me announcing this today, I locked myself in. I can't change my mind now. I can't decide now that I'm not going to release this. So I'm putting it out there publicly. Everybody has heard that I'm going to be, hopefully early in the new year, the book will be available.
Man, listen, that is the dopest thing, bro. And listen, just know that to when you have a release date, definitely come back, man, and let's talk more about that book. There's so much good stuff you just said about even the inspiration behind that book. That is something that a lot of men go through in this country, black and white, every nationality, every race.
Yeah,
We some a lot of men go through that, and so I think that's a beautiful ideal, man. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be inspiring, man, for a lot of people. Anybody that reads it, I feel like they'll tap into something. Well, they can be better for a nephew that they may have, or you know what I'm saying, or their unborn son even. And
yeah,
so, yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you for being honest enough to put something out like that. And I think that is the type of stuff that makes your artist at heart. Because it does take those levels of vulnerability, man,
absolutely.
to get to the core of our hurt and our trauma. Because once we deal with our trauma, then we become the authority. Then,
Yeah,
so it's amazing, and it's dude. I'm telling you, it is such a beautiful way the way God orchestrated this thing. So listen, you can deal with this fatherless trauma for all of your life, and then you get to a place where you write a book that helps somebody. Watch what you've gone through in 20 years. You can help somebody that's going through it, and you can help them heal in a matter of minutes and seconds because of your experience for 30 years, bro. That's why your voice is important. That's why your art is important. That's why I keep screaming on this podcast. If you're creating, put it out there. Put it
yes,
out there, because you'll be able to restore somebody in 10 seconds what it took you 30 years to go through and process through. So your trauma is also your triumph. And so I want to make sure that I'm encouraging everybody that's watching, that's hearing Tim's story. His book will come out in the top of the year. It's called Daddy Issues. Follow him on all social media. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. Follow him. Download his music. He has a new song that just came out called Bye Felicia. So definitely go and download that. We also listen to Cover Me, which is another song that Tim has out. Go and download his music. Follow him so you can get updates about when his book is going to release. I think that is going to be awesome, bro.
thank you, bro.
Bro,
Thank you.
man, thank you for being honest, and thank you for being open. Thank you for being vulnerable, bro, because that is who you are authentically, and that's what changes hearts, and that's what changes minds. You being true, you being honest, you being authentic. And bruh, I can't wait to read it. I almost wish I could have wrote a forward to that book, only because I'm telling you, because I'm fortunate where I had my dad in my life growing up. My dad has always been there, hard worker, took care of us. Um, but most people, even though my dad was there, there's still levels of absence that I felt from him that he wasn't even aware of. And so
Hmm.
I think that's, so both of these ideas are valid, because I'm sure there are a lot of men that are growing up that may have had their dad or may have had strong father figures in their life, but still didn't get all the nurturing perhaps that
Yeah,
they need for whatever the circumstances were. And so even still, I think that those are definitely opportunities for us to heal, for us to reach, and for us to connect with people in a unique way, to tell our unique stories, so that again people can process and heal through something in 10 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes or however long it helps them get through the book. What it took some of us 30 years to process out enough to even write about it. So
right.
Tim, bro, man, you blessing the podcast today, sir.
I'm trying, brother. I'm trying.
Bro, I just appreciate you, dude, more than you know, bro. I really appreciate you for being an artist at heart, man, for being as authentic as you are, And so I just celebrate you, bro. All your accomplishments, man. Please keep me posted. You have my information. You have my number. I'm just happy to call you friend, bro. I really am. I'm just happy to call you friend, and I'm just happy to call you brother. I appreciate all that you are. Before we get out of here, bro, any last words, any final comments? Inspire the people, Tim, since you've inspired us so much today.
Last words. Let me think here. First, thank you. Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much, man, for the invite. Thank you for your consistency, man. You have literally been like the same since day one, and that's rare, in this era where people can change. People can change. I guess my last words will be an analogy that I preached once before, and that is to tell everybody out there who might be watching, who might be listening, your goal in life should not be to strive to be a star. Stars have to create their own shine. If you instead decide that you're determined to be a moon, then the only thing that needs to happen for you to shine is that the sun continues to shine. And so as long as the sun is shining and you're in a position to reflect his light, then you'll always have a shine. So don't kill yourself trying to be a star. Don't try to be a little imitation of the sun, or else you're going to gas yourself out, and in 10 years you won't be shining anymore. Just be a moon, be open, be accessible, stay close to God, and as long as he's sitting on the throne, as long as he's shining, then you will always have your shine.
Tim, man, listen, that is, bro, thank you so much for that. That's such a beautiful thought. A great way to end this podcast, man. You're such an inspiration. You're so encouraging. I just appreciate you for being who you are. Those of you that are watching, definitely follow Tim. He's on all social media outlets. Follow him, follow his story. It's a phenomenal story. He's a phenomenal songwriter and soon to be author. So definitely follow him, and that way you can find out all the cool things that are happening with Tim. Listen, Tim, thank you so much for taking time to be a part of Moments of Clarity. You've definitely brought a lot of clarity to this show today, and these are the type of shows, bruh, that I live for. I'm like, yes, I'm connected with somebody that's cool. They have great energy. That's a constant inspiration. You've always been a humble dude, bruh. You've always just been like, hey, man, I just want to be there. You've always been an assistant. Like, I just want to be where the need is to help. And so I appreciate you for being that dude. Don't ever change. There's so many great things that's due you, that's coming to you in this upcoming year. And I'm just happy to call you friend, bro. So when you have a release date, let me know so we can come back and we can talk about it and we can dive more into these daddy issues. They are vast, but I think you're going to give some answers and some great inspiration in this book. So I'm just excited about it. So guys, you guys have a great holiday this weekend. Be safe. You guys mask up, take care of yourselves, take care of your families. And for my boy Tim, I salute you, bro. Tim is
right
over
back
there.
at you, Tubbs.
Tim is holding down the East Coast. I'm over here holding down the West Coast. And so
Yes,
with us
sir.
on both these coasts, the United States is going to stand up because we holding it down.
Yeah.
Tim, man, bless you, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you guys again so much for being a part of this episode of Moments of Clarity. We'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time. Take care.